Hi everyone, this is Untouched ASMR. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I found that I really enjoy listening to Reddit stories, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can make my own in an ASMR style, in a soft-spoken manner. So I'm gonna do that. I'm under the thread crazy stories, and I picked one out, and this is my first reaction. I have not read it. The title is I Need to Tell This Story, but I Can't Tell Anyone That I Know. And I am just lounging out. I'm in my comfy sweatshirt. I just took a shower. My hair is drying a little crazy. I have baseball on in the background, and it is a nice, it is a cozy summer day. I have my coffee with me. Only last few sips left, and it is a rainy day out. So it's kind of relaxing and the perfect time for a story. Okay. This is pretty long, so let's get started. I need to tell the story. I need to get it out of me. It happened when I was in the military, and I did something bad because it was the right thing to do, and it bothers me, but I can't tell people about it. It could get other people in trouble, and myself, I suppose. I was an ER nurse on a military base. There was an accident during training. Yes, it happened all day, every day. But this one, it was a flight incident. Flight incidents are a big deal. People die and multi-million-dollar aircraft are destroyed. This accident was no different. My patient was the pilot, who ejected and lived. Others did not. And the accident was considered my patient's fault. So they bring the guy in. He walked in. He was fine. Racked with survival guilt, sure, and we had to do the whole trauma x-ray thing. But I was the highest ranking nurse in the ER that day. For that reason, the flight incident documentation was tasked to me, and I was to perform the mandated chain of custody blood draw to test the pilot for drugs or alcohol. Oh no. The room was somber. There had been deaths today. Deaths of people who were close to each other like brothers. The pilot's entire squadron, all his bosses' bosses, were there. They passed through, and a couple sat with him the whole time. I drew his blood. It's a chain of custody, which means every person who touches the vials has to sign who they hand off to at each handoff. It's for legal purposes. To verify that no one tampered or switched out a vial. I don't know why, but I drew excess blood. Probably because it was my habit to draw a vial or two extra in case a doctor wanted to add tests so I wouldn't have to stick a patient with a needle twice. I had 2 extra vials. When I gathered my trash up, I put them in my pocket. I don't know why. I usually would have just thrown them away, but I had them on my person when the pilot was discharged. His friends and coworkers took him from our site to the nearest bar to get immediately wasted and begin to grieve. That does not sound like the best thing to do. I don't know whether or not this is normal or standard operating procedure, or even sanctioned by the military. But whatever, his squadron went and got drunk together as they attempted to pull the pilot from an abyss of self-blame. I suppose it is important when that's your job to get past it so you can fly again, and I'm not going to judge anyone for how they managed to do that. It's gotta be difficult going back to work with the same people, all of you knowing you were piloting during an accident that killed other people. So yeah, they get a pass to go get blackout drunk from me. But not an hour after they left, the lab called me. There was a problem. The chain of custody blood draws needed drawn again. Someone had dropped the first ones on the floor. Smashed into a million pieces was my pilot's clean blood test. Now he was at a bar, getting drunk, and I had to call him and have him come in to get a new blood draw. It would not be clean. He would have alcohol in his blood. But I still had to have him come in. Everyone understood the ramifications of what was happening. With alcohol in his blood sample that was taken for his flight incident, he would be court-martialed. There would be a trial, he would get charges, and he would do time in the brig. His commanding officer came with him. I don't remember if he had a star or two or a bird. I don't know. I think that's something like ranking. But his expression was grave. The pilot's fate, I believe he was thinking, was sealed, unless he himself told the truth that this was a redraw, that it happened well after the pilot was off duty, that he had begun drinking to ease his grief and was called back. But that meant the flight incident report had no blood draw. That would end this pilot's career. With whether or not he was drunk or on drugs during this incident up in the air, he would be grounded, possibly indefinitely. He would have to crawl his way back up to where he was trusted to fly again. If he was elite or wanted to be an elite pilot, that's the end of his dream. Walking a pilot into the room where I was drawing his blood was like walking a career to the gallows. The whole time I did the paperwork and drew the blood, I knew what I had to do. The commanding officer stammered and said things and made explanations. I don't know what he thought I could do about the situation. I'm pretty sure he had no idea that I could or would do anything. No one pressured me, I'm trying to say. No one threatened me. No one coerced me to do what I did. I did it all on my own, and no one knew what I was even planning. I took the blood I had just drawn into my right hand. The pilot was looking down at the ground, his head hung in grief for the dead and for himself. Look at me, I said. Look at me. I waited for his eyes to meet mine. He had to understand what was happening and that everything would be okay. Do you remember who drew your blood earlier today? Who did it? Who? I asked him, demanded of him. You did. It was you, he replied. Holding his blood in my right hand, I reached into my pocket with my left, demonstratively. I took out the blood I had held onto, and I told him, this is some of the blood I drew from you earlier. This is yours. There was extra. This blood came from you. He didn't look blank exactly. It was the moment just before understanding. I looked at him, at his commander, and then turned and put the blood I just drew from him into a sharps container bin. The garbage. I threw the new blood draw away, and I put the vials I drew on him earlier down in front of me and set about filling out my document. The only lie was the time of the blood draw. I was falsifying a document, but that was his blood. I drew it, and it never left my custody. There was no way he was going to have clean blood for this draw. I knew it. His commander knew it. He knew it. Whether the commander thought I was swapping out someone else's blood for his, the pilot and I knew. That was the pilot's blood. It was just the extra vials I drew earlier. Relief washed over the room. The pilot mumbled something to his commander. I knew I was committing a crime, but the pilot was not drunk or under the influence in any way during that accident, nor when he came to me the first time. Upon his return, he was not drunk, but there would be alcohol in his blood. If that blood ran, his career would be over, and it would be over unjustly because he was sober when I got his first sample. I don't remember the look on his face afterwards, or what either of them said to me in gratitude. I was hearing my heartbeat and the blood rushing in my ears because I knew it would be me doing time in the break if anyone knew what I had just done. I moved them off, waved them away, and out of the room. They couldn't walk out triumphantly. They couldn't show that their spirits had lifted, couldn't slap me on the back. They had to leave now, without a fuss, so no one had any idea what I had just done. It bothers me. I'm a liar. I faked official documents. I feel terrible about it, but I'd do it again. It was the right thing to do. Even if it messes with me to this day, it's good to get it off my chest. Wow. please hold while I go get another water because my throat is now dry. And then we can talk about some of the comments underneath here and my opinion. I'll be right back. This sweatshirt is Bear Bells. If you guys know the protein bar company, they have really good protein bars. This is a sweatshirt that my boyfriend got from them because he is an influencer, and this was in a PR package that they gave him. And it's pretty cute. It's for their new birthday cake flavor, and it's just simple in the front, which I like, and then it says birthday cake on the arm. It's hard to show. And then on the back it says, "This is my birthday suit," I think. So it's pretty cute. I'll be right back. Whew, okay. I have one thought really quick. Also, I do like to be super casual in front of the camera in a way that's not technically me acting. I like to just act how I would in the real world because I find that I love ASMR that's most replicated by the real world and not overly produced. So I'm gonna be super casual as if I'm talking to a friend in most of these videos, and just, you know, not looking put together, just looking cozy. Sometimes, you know, because I like that. So this is me and you talking about this crazy story I heard on Reddit. Another quick thought. Two thoughts. One, I am a rambler, and I will go on about different thoughts that I randomly get. So just so you know, that's how I am. And two, what I was gonna say is that when I talk for a long period of time, or I tell a long story, or I'm in a long conversation, my vocal cords, I'm not really sure what it is, they get tired, and it like makes my throat feel like I'm sick, just from talking a lot. I don't know if anyone else experiences that, but I know I'm not sick when it happens, but every time that I'm like talking for a long time, that happens. It's very weird. But that's just me. That's just me. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through all of these. Actually, yeah, I'm not gonna go through all of these comments. Let me just look through some of them. Someone said here, I was anticipating a different ending, one where the lab deliberately destroyed the sample and requested a new one because his was right on the borderline of being acceptable and thinking a new draw would be clean. In any case, you definitely did the right thing, speaking as both a veteran and a pilot. We are taught as kids not to lie, but in the real world, sometimes a lie is the right thing to do. I'm sure it was in this case. Thank you for perceiving and doing the right thing. And by the way, I have also heard that getting the uninjured survivors drunk after a crash is an old AF tradition. That's very interesting. I do think that in this situation, it still wasn't right, but I don't think what that person did was technically right because of the laws. but I think it was fair, and I just think it was fair, excuse me, for the pilot, and fair in a human way. I think that, in some cases it is more acceptable to do something like this, because it would be unjust if the pilot was found with alcohol in his blood, which was not true, but I still think this person is a good person. Even though what they did wasn't technically legal, I think it was a fair and good thing for that person to do. I am someone who definitely lives by, lives life without lying. It's very hard for me to lie, and something that I don't enjoy doing, and I believe that in any situation, the truth will always be set free. So if I were in this situation, would I do the same? I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say it's impossible. It's very interesting though. Someone said, "We all agree you are not a liar, but a genuine person. So save someone's life that day, because God knows what all could have came from that. He already lost so much that day. If anything, you are a hero." So many people saying you did the right thing. Yeah, a lot of people are saying you're a hero. And you know what? I believe that is true, that it wouldn't be fair if the pilot was found with alcohol in his system. So I think this person did do the right thing, because yes, the law is not always the right thing to do. Sometimes in those emergency situations, you have to go past the law to be a hero and to really change the trajectory of someone's life. I think that was definitely one of those situations. I am actually going to do another video on this, because this one is a little longer. So I will see you in a minute.